We are the light, the expressions of God. Thank you, Melva, for that beautiful song. And you wrote that. So, another example of the talent and the love that is shared here. Because we stand in truth. And if you've taken metaphysics with me, you'll know that's truth with a capital T, which is the absolute truth. The only thing that really exists. We are the expressions of that truth. And as expressions of that truth, we are finding ourselves embarking on a new way of being. A new way of being with each other. New lessons on this journey. And they're lessons for everyone. And it seems like to me sometimes that it's a repetition of a lesson that we have had in the past. But what I do know is that's probably the truth, because when we don't get it the first time, we'll be given another opportunity in our lifetime to heal that which is unhealed. To get a greater understanding of the truth. And one of those truths, the small t, and I say that because that's a perception that we have in our humanness, is that change is difficult. And that our beliefs are the truth of who we are. But that's not the big T truth. That's only a perception of the little me. And the little me is the one that gets trapped in bondage. It's the one that lets the mind run away and the fears be created and the worry and doubt set in. The little me is the one that sees the difficulties that humanity is moving through right now. And it's real, so don't get me wrong, I'm not living in Pollyanna land. I'm not looking through rose-colored glasses. I definitely see it. I see the injustices. I see the human error thinking, human error behaviors. I even participate in it sometimes. I don't know that anybody doesn't. If you don't participate in the doubts and the injustices, if you don't feel triggered in your experiences or in what someone says to you, please come and tell me how you do it. You know, enlighten me a little bit, because I feel it. I see it. Even though I understand that it's not the truth. I'm still human in this spiritual journey. So one of the things that I have to do myself personally in this time of great challenge, and it's a great challenge because our world is in a pandemic that's creating a lot of doubt and fear and worry about our wholeness as individuals, about the wholeness of our family and friends. And then to add on to all of that, we are living in a time of great upheaval as a social society, not only here in Louisville, Kentucky, but in Portland, Oregon, and in Hong Kong, and in many other areas of the country, in the world, excuse me, not just this country, but the whole world is in conflict with themselves and with each other. And when I get to that point where it's just so overwhelming and I'm frustrated, and I don't know about you all, but sometimes people don't understand what I'm trying to say, or I lose my way in that communication of passion, and I get frustrated. And then I have to stop and think, okay, don't take it personally. The other person is hurting too, right? And so I have to take a step back and just breathe. And remember that this is heaven on earth, and I get to choose what that earth looks like. So sometimes I have to go back into that allness as a child and see it differently. See the kingdom of heaven as a child does. So look into my grandson's eyes and see the wonder and the awe and the love that is radiating from him to all people, no matter what. As an adult, I have to remember to be strong and to reflect the power of God that is within me. And I say reflect that power of God because what I have going on in my inner world is reflection in the outer world, and I know that. And so to stand strong and to reflect that power of God, that allness of God, that truth of God. And that will overshadow the ignorance and the darkness that many people continue to live in. The fear, the misunderstanding, the fear of change, of the unknown, which keeps us all in bondage. That we do not see the truth as one. There are variations of it, just as there are variations of our consciousness, just as there are variations in our individual vibrations. Until we can all maintain at the highest possible level, the chaos continues. How do we educate each other to the good that is the truth, to the power of prayer and meditation, going into that space daily and being, and not doing so darn much? I forget that I'm here to be. And I get in that vicious cycle of doing. And I get frustrated because I feel like I need to do more. And right now, with everything going on in the world, there's not enough time in a day to do everything that I see and want to be a part of and to change and to be present at and with. And I have to stop. And take a breath. And stop the lies. Because that's the truth of it. It's all lies. It's not the truth. And I don't mean to say that to condemn ourselves and others, because we can't see it. We can't see the possibilities that we can manifest right now for every human being on this planet, so that my grandson does not have to go through this again in his lifetime. The littlest one's not going to remember. The oldest one, who's 24, will remember. And I don't want any of the 8 of them to have to repeat the social injustices. The level of ignorance that has created a pandemic in this country that didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be so severe. But it is. So how do we educate ourselves? Open our eyes, open our hearts, open our minds to the vast possibilities that are available to us, to each of us, every day. The only way I know to do it is to go back to the truth, roots of unity that Emily Cady taught us before unity even existed. That we have to open our hearts and open our minds. We cannot condemn ourselves or others. We cannot live for the rewards of living, for the materialistic opportunities to get ahead without the consequences of the choices that we're making. Because that allows us to live in an untrue vastness of darkness. We must no longer seek a creed to follow. Okay, this is where I get in trouble as a minister. Because all organized religion has a creed, including unity. But the truth is, we have to live and be. We must be life. Not only for ourselves, but for our brothers and sisters. And that is all of our brothers and sisters. Black Lives Matter. The indigenous people who have been mistreated through centuries in our country matter. We all matter. And it's time that we really recognize that truth and stand up for it. And there are many ways that we can stand up for it. We don't have to be the ones that are downtown in Jefferson Square protesting, but we can support them. We have many people from our community who are down there on a daily basis who get arrested and go to jail and come back, and they're back out there the next day because they are willing to manifest a change, and they're being and living the life that they see they need to live. We can support them through prayer. We have been asked as a community, specifically from the organizers, to come and hold them in prayer, to send healing energy to each and every one of them. And you don't have to be down there to do that. We know the truth that the healing energy flows wherever it is, and it is absorbed and by any receptive soul. So we can all take part in that, and I suggest that we do. Because when we take that stand as love, the violence dissipates, the anger dissipates, and that is being life. We must live our life to the fullest. In truth, as the divine expression of that higher presence, whatever name you give it, that is ours to do. We are the love, we are the wisdom and life, and we know the highest and best for all. That's the true creed. We hold everyone in that highest possible vibration, which is best for all, no matter what. That's the part that's hard. No matter what another soul does, we hold them to the highest definition of love that we can, to that expression of being God. We have to focus on that good to see it in someone else. We have to mirror that within ourselves to send it outward so that someone else who is living in the darkness and ignorance can absorb it and shift and change. We have to stop doing and be the highest realm of possibility. Which leads us to that knowledgeable, true wisdom. It leads us to greater experiences. So think about that for a minute. If we were all spending our time being in that highest realm of consciousness that we could think of at the moment, and continuing to be aware that there's a higher state always moving upward, what could the world be like? If we spend all that energy that we do doing and instead be. Imagine the world if we were all acknowledging each other as an expression of God, an expression of life. That's how we start. That will stop the human struggling. It will take us out of our bondage, which is our own making, out of our era thinking. In the silence, we radiate and accomplish those great works without the frantic, hectic chaos of ignorance. That's where the real change is. That's where the real work is. Daily, we must seek the living spirit and let go of the old self. So on a daily basis, we must go within and focus on the good, connecting with that Christ self, igniting that spark of life, and living the wisdom that comes through. We must stand in balance to manifest the change, which starts within and reflects outward. And here's that hard part. We must forgive. We must forgive ourselves for that which we think in error. And we must forgive others, no matter what. And that's not easy, but it is doable when you practice the presence. Practice being every day connecting with that presence that is alive within you, that truth that is you. Because in that truth, we find the all wisdom, all power. And as we trust in it, we accomplish the world we desire for humanity. We are entering a new phase in humanity, in the spiral dynamics of life. And we've been moving this way for quite some time. It's the oneness that is, which will eliminate the social injustices. Today is the day. And now is the time to free ourselves, to live in truth. You know, Jesus said, the truth will set you free. But what many people forget is the line that comes before that. You shall know the truth. It is the knowledge of the truth which sets us free. It is the knowledge of the ignorance which sets us free. We are already free, and we don't know it. We were born as an expression of God, and we are free. There is no difference from any being on this planet other than the difference that we've created in our own minds and in our own hearts. That's the lie. The truth is, we are one. The absolute truth is there is no lack or anything greater than the good. So we must be aware of the lie. Stop believing the lie. Stop speaking the lie. We must speak the truth. It is the truth that will manifest the real world, where we live as one in peace and harmony. We are living the lies right now. And I invite you into your heart space to live and be the truth. Namaste.